Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. I have been solving math problems for GRE out of this book here, practicing to take the GRE, the general exam, the general test, 10th edition. If you do not own this book already, it's imperative that you purchase one immediately. This is where you're going to find the real exam to practice for the exam, to get ready for the exam. The problem that I'm about to solve is the one that you're going to find on page number 135, number 5. It's a very simple, very straightforward problem. 86% of the people who took the exam got this question right. It's a very straightforward problem because we're given two quantities, 10 and 11 plus x. Well, let me do a little bit of something else, even though this is a very simple problem. But it doesn't hurt to learn in a little bit detail for future. So here we go. For the GRE, if you watch my previous clips, I forget now which video it was, but I went over this already one time in the previous set. In your school years, you learn many different kinds of numbers. We talked about positive numbers, negative numbers, odd numbers, even numbers, whole numbers, fraction, prime numbers, rational numbers, irrational numbers. There are many different kinds of numbers that we were taught. Similarly, for the GRE, all you have to remember is that the numbers come in two flavors. So stay with me here, stay with me as to what I have to say here. Here we go. Two flavors of numbers for GRE. As I said, stay with me because it's going to get quite complicated. Here we go. Nice numbers and nasty numbers. As I told you, I warned you, it's going to get complicated. Nice and nasty. What are nice numbers? Nice numbers are any whole positive numbers, which is what most people think of. Most people, for example, in this case, when they see 10 in this column and 11 plus x in this column, they figure, well, 11 plus something has got to be more than 10. They're only thinking about positive numbers. For the GRE, as I said, there are two kind of flavors of numbers that you have to keep in mind. Forget about all the other even numbers and rational, irrational numbers, prime numbers. Just keep it simple. Nice and nasty. The nastiest of all is 0. The next nastiest one is 1. Even though 1 happens to be a positive whole number, 1 is an exception. Why is 1 a nasty number? Because 1 doesn't do anything. 1 time any number is just a number itself. It doesn't evolve the problem. So when you contemplate 1, things get quite kinky, and which is what we are trying to see here. Are things going to stay the way they are, or are they going to get a bit kinky? My answer, if I just say, well, 10 and then 11 plus something is going to be more than 10, and based on that, I'm going to say the answer is B. But the answer is not B here. What I have found is not the one. What we have found so far is not what the answer is, but what we have found here is what answer is not. There are 4 possible answer choices. If I find one instance where one quantity is bigger than the other, for example, here quantity in column B looks like bigger than for example, if I plug in 2 for x, then of course quantity in B is bigger than quantity in column A. What I found is not the fact that the answer is B. What I have found is what the answer is not. Since I found one instance when quantity in column B is bigger than quantity in column A, that tells me that A cannot be the answer. It also tells me that C cannot be the answer, because C means the two quantities are always equal. I found one instance when they are not equal. So C cannot be the answer. But I still do not know that the answer is B. All I have determined here is the fact that based on this work, all I have determined is that the answer cannot be A and it cannot be C. So 0, 1, negative, and then finally fractions. So based on a nice number of 2, the answer is B. What if x happens to be negative 11? If x happens to be a negative number, anything, or even negative 1, if x happens to be negative 1, let's forget a negative 11 will be 0 here. Even if x were just negative 1, then this quantity becomes 10. This is also 10. Now the answer is C. Because the answers conflict, the correct answer is D. And the only way you will figure out this part is if you do all the work. Most people only do half the work, which is why they get these questions wrong. The quantitative comparison questions are not that bad as long as you know what to do here. Always contemplate these 4 scenarios. You must. Otherwise, you've done half the work. Because every time you pick an answer choice, what you're claiming is that if you pick answer choice A, what you're claiming is that the quantity in column A is always bigger. That is not the case here. All I have told you is that quantity in column B may be bigger than A. It is bigger than A in this case, when x happens to be a whole positive number. But there is nothing in the problem that tells me that x has to be a whole positive number. All they have told me is this. All they have told is this right here, 10 in column A, and this in column B. That's all they have told us, 11 plus x. They told us nothing about x, so x could be anything. Let me look at the clock in the back, see how much time I have used, and then I'll do one more problem. So that's it. That was question number 5. Let me move on to question number 6. I made a big fuss about it, even though it's a very simple problem. I did made a big fuss about all of this thing, not because you need the help in this one. This is very simple, straightforward question number 5. 86% of the people who took the exam got this question right. But had this been instead of number 5, had this been number 12 or 13, it would have been far more tricky, tricky or trickier if you like. In which case, it's good to know all of this thing in detail, which is why I did it. Let's do number 6. Number 6 says half plus 3/5 versus 1 plus 3 over 2 plus 5. And the people who are being careless, they're going to just say, well, 1 and 3 and 1 and 3 and 2 and 5, they're going to think the answer is C. You have to do a little bit of work, even though this is not bad. Again, 85% of the people got this question right. And if you're curious where I'm getting this information as to what percentage of the people got the question right, you will find it at the end of each exam. For this particular exam, the answers are on page number 189, I believe. 189, if you turn to it. Page number 189. Anyway. So what's going on here? This is half, obviously. 3/5. How much is 3/5? 3/5. You should know your fifth for the exam. 1/5 is 0.2, 2/5 is 0.4, 3/5 is 0.6, 4/5 is 0.8, and of course 5/5 is going to be 1. So 3/5 is more than half. You should know this. It's very simple. 3/5 is more than half, and this is half. Half plus something more than half is going to be more than 1. And this is 4 over 7, which is less than 1. This quantity on the column B is 4 over 7, which is less than 1. This is more than 1. Half plus something more than half is going to be more than 1. The answer is A. That's all. I hope you found this helpful. If you wish to buy solution manuals from me to any of this problem in this book, or if you wish to hire me for personal private tutoring, face-to-face tutoring, in either case, go to my website at www.for4GRE.com and send me an email and we'll talk. It doesn't matter where you're located. As long as you and I can come to an agreement, I'll come and help you. Alright? Thank you very much. Bye-bye.